Kyrie Jesu Domine, dona eis requiem.
Good morning and happy Monday. Let's talk about the topic du jour in our culture right now, which is racism. Which again, often seems to be played out that European descendant people are racist, and everybody else outside of the European continent was not racist. And nothing could be farther from the truth. Everybody is bigoted. People are bigoted within their own group. Again, there is no great state of Whitelandia where all the white people came from. I'll give you a good for instance. Most of my family grew up in Sacred Heart of Florissant, as did a whole bunch of my cousins. All the Tursticks grew up in Sacred Heart Florissant. Sacred Heart in Florissant was founded by German immigrants who wanted nothing to do with the French down at St. Ferdinand's, just 6 blocks away. They carried all the old world animosities over here, even though both churches were served by the same community of priests, the Jesuits. In fact, the Jesuit priest from St. Ferdinand's would have to come up the hill to Sacred Heart in the late 1800s to do Mass. Of course, Mass was the same for both groups. It was Latin. But then the teaching was done in French or German. In fact, the lettering on Sacred Heart School, its first school, which is now the kindergarten building, was in German. So there's all these animosities. Now, German and French don't think anything about fighting each other anymore, which is great. That's a great stride in ending racism. And we need to make the same great stride in ending racism between fair-skinned people and dark-skinned people. But I'm going to tell you, I think there's a lot less of it than there is in the news. It's out there. I mean, again, people are bigots. But it is something you train yourself to be bigoted. You can be bigoted against skin, bigoted against gender, bigoted against all the appearance. I said this before recently in another little 5-minute thing. But you need to examine yourself. You have to be convinced. Before you go pointing fingers at the world, go look in the mirror. I said this yesterday in the homily for Corpus Christi. The biggest problem you and I face is that doofus staring back at the mirror. He or she thinks they got their act together and they don't. They need reform, they need renewal, they need conversion. Well, he or she, we collectively need conversion. And that's what we need to work on. When I meet somebody, I notice a whole bunch of things right off the bat. None of it is consequential. It's incidental. It's what I notice. Me talking to you is actually going to be a much better indication of whether we're going to get along than how you look. You know, I met a gentleman the other day who clearly had been burned. Gary was his name. What a great guy. You know, but I'm sure his appearance is unsettling to people. But Gary's just a dude. He's got a great sense of humor. Met him and Jack over at the local gun store down the road in Warrenton. Great guy. And had gotten burned at a very early age. And just talked with him a little. I'm going to tell you one thing about kids. Kids can be exceptionally cruel. More so than adults. Although lately we're trying to give them a run for the money. Acting as bad as kids in our culture. I think the social media has caused emotional regression. Where we start acting more like teenagers or pre-adolescents in our emotional maturity in dealing with people. That's sad. But you know what? I noticed that about Gary, but that was like a 5-second bleep. And I even think I remember my buddy telling me about the man. He's a great guy. And all he will be to me here on out is Gary with a good sense of humor. And Jack with a cane made out of copper piping, which is pretty cool. It's got a nice little knot on it too. I wouldn't want to cross Jack when he's swinging that cane if he ever gets angry. But notice things about people and then move on from there. That's all I can say. You know, spend time in their company and you can judge their character. Then determine if they're worth more of your company or less. Because friendship is a gift you can choose to give or deny anybody. Have a good day. Thanks for listening.